Okay, we are live. Today we are talking about your biggest hurdles in life, in business, anything. What is it that stops you from achieving your goal, your dream? A dream in business to be successful, or life. And today I'm talking with a mindset and success coach, Carina Groombridge. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love this topic. So we have lots to talk about.
Yes, and I've been following you for a while. So I know you've seen me on your lives once in a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just have a way of like getting things out of people, getting people out of their head. Like I was just talking to you about, me being perfectionist and you're like trying to get that out of me. Like it doesn't exist. Keep going.
Exactly.
So tell us about you and how you got into this and where you're going with it.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. So it's always a pleasure to, come on and share my story with some new people. So like you said, I'm a mindset and success coach, and I work specifically with mompreneurs who are looking to either start or grow their business. And I got into this in such like a roundabout way. I actually, if you look at my background, I'm not an entrepreneur. Like I wasn't grown up. I didn't grow up in an entrepreneur family. I grew up with a corporate mentality. I studied mechanical engineering. I worked in the field for, I think, 7 or 8 years. And I realized like my trigger to shift gears and like change things up was when I had kids. And I was like, hold on. Like, I don't love what I do. I don't love, like, there was some flexibility in my career, but not as much as I felt I needed as a mom of, 3 very small children. And one of the biggest driving factors for me was I wanted to be able to tell my kids that you can do what you love. Like, you should find something that you are like head over heels for and just run straight at it. And I was like, okay, this is like the message, the fundamental message that I want to give to them. And I want to like fuel their whatever creativity. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to eat my words here. Like, I am not doing it myself. And I was like, I can't try to teach them this if I have no idea how to do it myself.
For sure.
And so that was like the I guess, fuel to kind of push me on my way to figure out what the hell it was. Because honest to God, like I did all my schooling. I got the corporate job, like the security, like all the things. But if somebody had asked me, like, what do you really want to do with your life? I had no idea. Like, it was just, I never knew. And it was just a constant story on repeat. So when I had the kids, when I decided like I need something to change, that was the shift in the story for me. And then that's now led me to where I am today, where I get to help, like I'm now full-time in my business. I freaking love what I do. It is just so much fun and so rewarding. And I get to help other moms do the same thing with less guilt, less overwhelm, way more fun, and to be able to support your family in that way. So it's just like, now I'm like, I found my happy thing, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I could show my kids how to do this. And I don't know what that path will look like for them, and that doesn't matter, but I can show them how to get there. So yeah.
Yeah. I think believing in yourself is probably one of the biggest things, right?
Yep.
I just talked to one of my friends last night, and she's struggling because childcare is a problem for her, and that's a problem with so many parents these days, right?
Yeah.
So she had her parents living with her and helping her with childcare, so it hasn't been a problem in the last few years. But they just dropped the bomb and said, "Hey, we want to move to another city, to another province." And now she's like I need to downsize because I can't afford this house. Like I can't afford a house and a childcare and all that stuff. And she's freaking out. And I'm like, you're very talented.
Very capable.
Yeah, very capable. even if you were to move, like, and downsize, like, how much money are you saving? Like, you're basically just like downgrading life, but you're very capable of upgrading. She's smart. She's hardworking, and she's good at, she's very creative. And so, I know it might be difficult, but what would you tell somebody who would be very capable of just jumping from being an employee to entrepreneur?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the first things that I did for myself, and one of the things that I encourage my clients to do, is find all of the evidence on how that could work. Like what is it you want, first of all? Like, what do you want life to look like? Because it's very helpful to have that vision in order to, take steps towards it. But then, like, once you have that vision, once you have that idea, find all the evidence on how it's possible for you to create it, on how, like, if other people have done it, amazing. Those are just more examples of how cool, like, they did it, so can you. And that was one thing that really kind of opened my eyes to in entrepreneurship, to say, like, wait a second, like, this could actually work. Like, before I had started, it wasn't even a thought. It's like, oh, it's unstable, it's this, it's that. But the more I looked into it, the more I saw about it, the more I realized that you're actually more in control of your path, more in control of your income, of your structure, than you are in a corporate world. Because there's like that blanketed secure feeling, but really, like, you could be let go tomorrow and need to figure out your shit. So yeah. I would say, obviously, like, figure out what do you want life to look like? Like, things are changing. This is like a transition period, and it's okay to feel that, like, freak out. Oh my God, what am I going to do? But when you're done with the freak out and you're done with the, like, okay, like, now we need to figure this out. What do you want it to look like? And not just what you think is capable, what you think is possible, but, like, if you could have anything, what do you want it to look like? Because I find a lot, especially women, will put on these filters of, like, okay, well, this is my goal, because that's what they think is attainable. But really, what they're capable of is, like, way up here. And they just don't see it. Like, they just can't see it for themselves. And I mean, this is why I see such a value in coaching, because as a coach, I can see it in my clients. I can see it when they can't see it themselves. And just to have, like, that other party be like, no, you're playing small. Like, give yourself some more credit. You're way more capable and can do so much more than you're giving yourself credit for right now. So I feel like those are some really good areas to focus on for this friend of yours, and anyone who's looking to make a big change or just create what they want. Because the circumstance of parents moving out of the house, not having, like, childcare shifting, those are all circumstances. They don't actually dictate the end result that you're going to have. How you're thinking about it, how you're feeling about it, that's what's going to shift things. That's the game changer between creating the result you want or ending up with, like, whatever comes your way, because you're thinking that, well, no, it's because my parents are leaving, like, I'm totally screwed. No, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the mindset. So
mindset.
Yeah. And I've actually had a really huge flip in the way I've been thinking, in terms of, like, a lot of things, right? Because I just told you, I've always been a perfectionist, right? I'm always nitpicking at every little thing, like my poor daughter. She went to open gym this one day and did something amazing, and I'm like, that was really good, but there's always a but. Like, I just need to, like, we need to perfect it just a little bit more. Like, it was to almost anybody, it was perfection. But to me, I'm like, it could be just a tad bit better, right? So, is there something wrong with that? I feel like it depends. But like, I'm always thinking there's always room for improvement. However, I've had a big change in going, things don't need to be perfect. You just need to go, and you can make those little incremental changes as you go, but don't let it stop you.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Because usually that perfectionist tendency will get people frozen in their tracks rather than trying and failing, or trying and it not being perfect. So usually, like, especially in a business world, that's where perfectionism comes in as not being a good thing. Now, obviously, it has its purpose. It has its areas where it does really serve you. If you're dealing with documentation or like legalities, or if you're in that world, then yes, it helps to be meticulous. It helps to double check your work and that sort of thing. But it really depends on, like, is it helping you to progress forward, or is it hurting you? And I think that's a really good question to ask yourself. Like, are you holding back because it's not perfect? Are you not taking action because, you recorded a video and you said the wrong thing, or you messed up on your words? Like, in reality, nobody else cares because we're human.
Right?
But
I keep telling myself that. And that's why I would rather go live and mess up, because then I can't overthink it, than to try and create a pre-recorded video, because for some reason, some odd reason, it'll take me 10 shots to kind of get it right, rather than just do it imperfectly and just keep going and don't apologize.
I have that same tendency, and I like the live version because it is what it is. Like, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say the wrong words, but it's fine because it'll land with the right people. And the people who aren't your people, who are like, oh, she said the wrong thing or whatnot, they're not your people. It's fine. There's a lot more people in the world. Like, they don't all have to love you.
No.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what do you deal with? More business people, or just, are they mostly business people, or just like personal struggles, life struggles?
So usually I deal with mompreneurs, so moms who have a business or are looking to start a business. But it's funny you ask, because like, there's always the personal, like the family element that comes into play, because when you're working on your business and your like business brain, that is also your family brain, and you carry those thoughts and the tools with you in everything you do in life. So my main focus is on business, but I find, and one of the, I guess, happy side effects that I love about what I do is it also impacts family life, and it impacts how people are showing up, not just in their business, but for their family, for, their friends, themselves. Usually that relationship with yourself is like the number one thing we need to manage first. Because I know most women, most moms are like not as kind to themselves as they are to everyone else. So yeah,
for sure, everyone else first, me last.
Yes, which, like, I want to like put out there for everyone. In my world, it's me first. I have 3 children. In my world,
it's to keep your sanity.
Well, that's just it, right? And that is how I keep my sanity. And I like to, like, my friends always say, like, oh, you're so calm, you're so like laid back. It's because I put myself first, because I need to take care of me in order to be able to show up for everybody else. And not just my kids, but my business, my husband, my friends, like everybody else. And I can do that and keep my sanity because I take care of me first.
That's awesome. I've only started taking care of myself like recently, because my kids are older and they're capable of taking care of themselves. I just have to tell them to, make sure they do their homework and their chores, and then that's about it, right? And feed them once in a while. One day I just forgot. I was just like, I think we all snapped, and then all of a sudden, like 7:30 comes along. My husband's like, "Where's dinner?" I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Did we not already eat dinner? I'm not hungry.
When they're old enough to feed themselves, like it's fine. They can fend for themselves.
But I forgot because I wasn't hungry.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, but like just a little like, and everyone was fine, right? Like if somebody said, "Hey, I'm hungry," be like, "All right, cool. Like go find some food."
Yeah. So nobody was hungry. So nobody mentioned anything. And I completely, like, I probably would have gone without dinner and gone to bed and be like, wait a minute.
I'm more hungry. What's going on? Yeah.
So absolutely. I've been, I got a gym membership, like taking care of me so that I do have the energy to take care of everybody else. But it's been a struggle, and still working on it every single day. But I think just reading more helps me. Reading more is a big motivation for me. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things you just know, but sometimes it just you need a reminder, right? So having a coach is kind of like, it's a reminder. Logically,
big reminder,
know this. Right? But you need someone to confirm it, right?
Yep. No, you can logically know all the things. That does not mean you're going to like have the result that you want, right?
Yeah.
So we can logically know that we should go to bed early, and we should logically know that, other people's opinions shouldn't influence us. But at the end of the day, if you're not actually practicing that and like trying to let go of like other people's opinions or, like trying to be perfect or all the things, then you're not actually applying it. I heard a quote, I think it's a Tony Robbins quote, but it says, oh God, now I'm going to mess it up. Oh, okay. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something to the effect of like, it's not knowledge that's power. It's applying that knowledge. And like, I'm totally butchering the quote.
Yeah.
But
no, I know the quote, a lot of people say knowledge is power, but it isn't. It's when you apply that knowledge, that's when it becomes powerful.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've heard that, but it's usually the high level thinkers that will say that to you, right?
True.
But like we've always known, knowledge is power. Throughout our lives, it's knowledge is power. And it wasn't until like very recently, it was like, no. It's useless if you know it and don't apply it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, oh, okay. I actually have to do something. I can't just be smart.
Exactly. That totally changes the game, because it's not the people that are the smartest or most educated that go the furthest. Like,
oh my gosh.
That's not true.
Is that ever true?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is crazy to think, because like, in the school systems, it's like, okay, you must do well in your test. You must, get good grades and this and that. But that's not actually the indicator of success. Yeah. Which is like crazy, because it seems like it's what society teaches us, but that's not the thing. It's going and like putting yourself out there, getting uncomfortable, doing the things that you're like, like this makes me feel really like nervous and scared, and going and doing it and figuring it out and getting things wrong. Those are the people that succeed. And it is not based on their knowledge or their IQ or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like I always tell my kids, like anyone I know, and my friends have confirmed it. Like I'm not the smartest person, but I guarantee you I am one of the hardest working people in wherever I've had a job. Like whenever I've been on a sports team, I'd be one of the hardest working. I'm not the most talented or smartest. And even my friends, like probably a few years ago, they told me that they called me the dumb blonde. Yeah. And I'm
interesting.
Like, why?
How did you earn that title?
I mean, it didn't bother me, because I'm like, well, whatever. Then expectations aren't very high then.
Then you'll just exceed the expectation.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm successful in what I do, and they acknowledge that, right? But, you know, when it comes to things that I'm not very interested about, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Take it for
Yeah.
what it is. Whatever they tell me, I'm like, okay. I don't need to do any research on it because I'm like, it doesn't affect me. I don't really care. I think that's probably why they're like, oh, yeah, Kathy's like the dumb blonde of our group.
But like, I mean, it kind of sounds like they're giving you some like shit for it, but I kind of love that approach. It's like, if that's not relevant to me, I'm not going to chase after it. I'm not going to do all the work for it because it's not something that is important to you.
Yeah.
And clearly the things that are important to you, you're like, no, I'm going to figure this out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to work. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do my thing. It's like, it's not important to me. It's fine. Like, somebody else can make the decisions.
Time or energy on it, right?
Yeah.
I spend the time and energy on what I do, and originally it was like cheer was my thing. That was my goal, and now it's you know, business. Like, I'm constantly improving, and yeah, like I'm constantly pushing. Like in my description, you know, I mentioned that I've grown up as a shy, quiet person, and you can see it in my daughter, like extremely mute. and that was me. That was me. And it wasn't until like very recently that I've just kind of started pushing myself, like pushing. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm finding myself live doing Facebook lives and whatever, and just going for it. And it's just practice pushing. And now, you know, I asked this question one time on my Facebook, and because I've gotten a lot of new online friends lately.
Yeah.
And I just put out the question out there, like, so what I think it was what do you think of when you think of me? Right?
Oh, that's a fun question.
Yeah. So, you know, some people know what I love, right? And they're like, oh, Hello Kitty, and like cheer, and then and some people like, oh, you're like a firecracker. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Like, that's the complete opposite of what I believe I am. Right?
Yeah. That's really fun to like get the different perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it totally took me off guard, right? But you know, it's pushing myself to do more, to be better, and to be out of my comfort zone, right? And I'm sure you see this all the time, and people are like, but I can't do that. I don't know how to do that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I was like, I totally feel you. I was the shy girl. I hated public speaking. It was like no, I don't want to do this. And the irony now is, you know, I do lives, I do presentations and talks, and like, it's like, you can totally absolutely change things if you want to.
It's
like,
all about your mindset, right?
Exactly. And, you know, it doesn't go from like being shy and not wanting to speak to being live and, you know, your video reaching thousands of people. Like, there are many steps in between. And usually what our brains do is they go, okay, but like where I am now is like 0. And like, I need to get here. Like, okay, cool. We're going to break that down and do like little baby steps to get you there. It's not one big jump. It's little baby steps to get you there, because usually what our brains will do is like, okay, done. It's too far. It's too big. I don't know how. And then shut down and stop and not pursue it, versus the like, take your big goal, break it down and go, okay, cool. Like, what do I need to do today to feel uncomfortable, get out of my comfort zone, like do the scary thing. And that's how you get there in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would say that for me, it took a partner, an accountability partner, to get me to that next level. Because by myself, I'm not sure if I would have gotten here, right? So my partner,
come on, give yourself some credit.
Honestly, like painfully shy.
Yeah.
So,
but see, you took the action to get the accountability partner, right? Like, own that for yourself, that you took that action to say, okay, like this is something I want to improve. This is a weakness that I have and I want to get better. So you found the partner, you did the work. You could have just not asked. You could have just not, kept that relationship going, but you did.
Yeah.
Right.
But
you did it. It's not on them.
I wanted to be better. I wanted to do what everyone else was doing. Right. Because they all tell you, in order to be top of mind, you have to show up. Right.
Yeah.
And I can't just hide behind, just typing, not as effective. Right. So we've got a comment here. I'm not really sure what that means from Robin Edwards. It says, if you play possum, you get run over. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, what I'm guessing is like, if you keep like kind of poking in and out, then I don't know. I haven't actually heard that expression before.
I'm not sure what possum means.
Possum. It's like
what it is.
I mean, possum is an animal. I'm not sure. I know sometimes, like, especially with translations, I try to avoid the sayings, because I know for me, like, my videos go all around the world, and some people are like, I don't know what that means. Because when you translate it into other languages, it's like, no, it doesn't work.
Try Chinese, completely backwards.
Exactly. So yes, I'm not sure another way to say that, but.
Okay. Robin, if you're watching, please try and explain what that means to us, and that might help. But we're going to keep going until we got to figure that out. Hopefully she's still on, or him, her. Robin could be him or her, so I'm not sure. So I don't know, what are the other common struggles that you see people have that, are probably the toughest to get over?
I feel like it depends on the person, like which aspects. I know, like, when you're starting and just being able to put a value on what you do. And especially if it's like an intangible, like if you're a coach, or if you're doing something that, doesn't necessarily have like a defined pricing to it, that I find a lot of people run into problems, because it's like, ooh, like I'm asking people for money and I'm going to take their money, and like this whole concept of feeling salesy and not really owning your value. So I see a lot of that kind of thought process in the industries when people are getting started, and even as they're growing and looking to scale. And really like the biggest thing for me is, and how I support my clients in this, is really saying like, okay, like how can we get around this like salesy mentality? Because you're not a used car salesman. What you know and what you do is really valuable to somebody else. And not everybody, like the whole world isn't going to need what you're offering, but that's fine. Like, we don't need the whole world to love it. We just need your people to love it, and your people to be like, yes, this is a hell yes for me. Like, hands down, I need your help specifically, and to go from there. So really just remembering like who it is you're talking to, who it is you're serving, and finding the value in that. Like, why is it so valuable to people? Like, let's say you're a relationship coach, and you need to put a dollar value on what your services are going to cost. And, it's not business. Like, people aren't going to get that money back. The return on investment is, finding the love of your life, having a better marriage. It's those intangibles that you need to break down and be like, this is very valuable to someone. It's very valuable to my people. And this is why I'm charging whatever I'm charging. So I find that's like a big piece as you're starting and growing your business, to be like, yes, people need this. And really getting behind that thought of like, what I do is valuable and people want it. And just being able to own those statements and like have your brain have that like be the primary thing is huge. Because most people, from what I hear, it's like there's that hesitation of like, yeah, they want to buy it from someone else who has more experience, who, like knows more than me, or who says it better than I do. Like, no, your people connect with you because of the way you show up, the way you say it, who you are. And that's the important thing. And that's what I find can get lost in the shuffle when, you go online and you see hundreds of other people doing the same thing. It's like, cool, but their message isn't going to connect with everyone the same way yours connects with your people.
For sure. And that's on the coaching side where there really is a very intangible value. But I find even I've looked into like something like drop shipping, when people are selling products, they're going, well, I need to make a profit. So I need to, have this price, but have that mentality of going, why would someone buy it from me at this price rather than saying going to, Amazon and waiting a little bit longer maybe to get my product, right? But it's there's a few things, sometimes they're like, well, people just don't need to do the research. They find something, you're right there, they saw your ad, and they're just going to go, if they need it, they're just going to go ahead and buy it, right? Yeah. Right timing, right place. But same kind of thing, right? Sometimes people aren't looking and shopping around for the right person, because sometimes if you're connecting or you need that product right now, you're just going to go for it, right? If it is within your budget, you're just going to go for it, right?
Exactly. And like having just having your brain go to that place of like, yeah, like people are going to land on this and it'll just be a yes. Like maybe you don't do that.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're the person to like research to death everything and like look into all the options. There's other people out there that are like, okay, I found it, done. Like, I don't want to look anymore. I'm done. Like checking the box on the next thing.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just done looking and they're just like, you're the last one. You look like you're good enough. Let's go.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
I've done research sometimes and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep, 100%.
But I think another big thing is money mindset when it comes to hiring people to do things that is not your expertise, and it would take a lot longer for you to learn the skill to do it. And I'm 100% guilty of that, because I'm like, I am the type of person who says, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do everything, because I'm a woman.
I'm capable, I'm a woman, I can do it all. Like, yep, you totally can.
I can do it.
Is it gonna serve you?
No,
probably not.
No. So that's when that knowledge is power comes into play. I'm knowledgeable, but I have no time to apply it.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, I love it. And usually that's like a big like people get stuck at that point of like, okay, well, I'm so busy, I'm doing all the things. It's like, okay, but if you want to scale, you need more of your brain to do the things that you're really good at, and not the stuff you can go and outsource that, can take somebody else less time, cost less of your money, like, time and money, and just have your brain space open up to do what you're really good at, instead of all the things that need to get done in order to like get you to the next step.
Absolutely. Know what your time is worth, and just get somebody else to do all the little tasks that aren't worth your time.
Yeah. Or that just aren't the things that you're really good at, right?
Or that you love doing.
Exactly. And I say that, but like, you might love doing it, but is it the best use of your time? Is it what people are paying you for? if you're like putzing around trying to make like a pretty graphic, but you're spending hours doing this, and you could be spending hours, with clients, prospecting, like whatever, then it should be outsourced. Like that should be off your calendar. And
that's hard though. Sometimes you're like, this is really fun. I love doing this. Well, then, it's kind of more of a hobby then.
Yeah, exactly. For a lot of my clients that are looking to scale, that's a big one, to be like, okay, what can we take off your plate that you're doing that you should not be doing? But you just keep telling yourself like, oh, but it's easy. Like, oh, it'll only take 5 minutes. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no, I just went through a course and it was just that, like, look at your business from the top down. Like, look at where it is, right? And just be that visionary. What needs to get done? Ask who you need to know, who you need to hire, not what do I need to do? How do I do it?
Yeah.
It's who. Yeah. So that was a huge eye opener.
I like that.
For me. Was like, stop asking the wrong questions. Who, not how or what.
And I'd say, like, because I've heard that concept or philosophy, and I say that, like, one little piece that I would add to that is, who are you being? Like, in that moment when you're looking at your business and operating your business. I was just talking to a client the other day who was like, oh, like, I had this bomb drop on me and I had so much work to do from it, and it's like pushed back all these other things. And when we like actually dove in and looked at it, she wasn't operating as a CEO in her business. She was operating as an employee. Like, okay, lots of work came in, I must do it. Versus actually processing what came in and like putting on her CEO hat to be like, okay, like, shit happened. Now I have to deal with it. Do I need to deal with it right now? How can I manage this and like keep my commitments and all the things? And when we examined it, she was like, oh, she's like, I didn't actually have to do everything all at once. She's like, I could have just, done X, Y, Z and given myself more space and time to manage this. Like, like that's because you're using your CEO brain, not your like employee brain.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a hard conversion, right? Especially when you're used to doing it. Like, I've been doing this for like over 11 years, right? It's just me. I can do this. It's been going well. But at a certain point, you're like, okay, there's no growth. Something's got to change.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, exactly.
Coming.
So exciting. I love it.
It is. And it's I don't know. That's the fun part to me, is like seeing the future, seeing the dream, right? Like, with my previous goal, what I kind of like made priority in my life before was, I want to get to compete at cheerleading worlds. So like all my attention went to that. Yeah. Right. Business was like, it'll help get me there. It'll fund my hobby. Yeah. But the dream is what drives me to get there and to face my fears and just stop looking at, what's holding me back, and just keep my eyes on the prize.
Yeah. And especially when you go into it and you're like, okay, cool, this is what I want to create. Like, how am I going to get there? Rather than it's impossible, I don't know, like all the things. It's like, no. Like, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I love that mentality.
Yeah. And you've got some exciting changes coming as well that I had no idea, and because you're not showing it, like a lot of us do.
Oh, it's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's amazing because, like you said before, I think a couple of days ago, you're like, well, what are my clients gonna think? You can go down this,
rabbit hole. Yeah.
Rabbit hole and be like, well, this is going to go wrong. That's going to go wrong. Or you can just look at it from the other side and be like, well, if they connect with me, then everything will be fine, right?
Exactly.
As long as you have got a plan for them, then it'll be good. So
exactly.
I'm
And like,
so happy for you.
Thank you. And just like for context, for people listening who don't know, I'm pregnant and I operate my business as a one-on-one coach. So there's some changes that I've implemented in order to continue supporting my clients while I, take some time to be in baby land and, do the whole mama thing and then come back into my business. So yeah, basically that whole thought of like, okay, this is my plan. This is what I'm going with. If shit hits the fan and everything changes, I will figure it out. But I am operating under under what I think will happen. And if things have to change, they'll change. If people need refunds, I'll refund them. Like, I'm not going to stress over things that are a maybe possibility.
Yeah.
No, my brain space is not going to that. There's no time for that.
Exactly. Just roll with the flow, and what happens will happen. You're not going to prevent anything by
freaking out over it. No.
Yeah. So Robin explained, I meant possums often freeze and play dead when things get scary, especially as a car is coming. So avoid the possum mindset. Oh my gosh. Yes. So you're like,
okay.
What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fight, flight, or freeze. Exactly.
Fight or flight. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Thank you, Robin, for explaining. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
I feel like I should have known that, but we don't have possums where I am. So it's not top of mind.
Either. So that's why I have no idea what a possum is. But yeah, I think that's what people do. They hit a roadblock and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this. And then they're like, okay, I'll come back to it someday. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But tomorrow never comes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of like taking action in the moment or like as close to that as possible, because if you're like, you're going out, you're getting help for something, and if you don't actually end up getting the help or, hiring the person or whatnot, then it can just kind of like fade away and fizzle out. And that drive to get the thing done is, now on the back burner. Whereas it was front and center and it had your attention. And if you had just like followed through with the thing, then you'd be able to move forward versus, having it be like, oh, okay, in a couple months, I'll come back to this. No, you're not. Like I say it with so much love. No, you're not.
Yeah. So how many times do you have to give your clients that tough love?
Oh God, so much. And like, they know it's coming from love. Like I'm not, trying to be mean. I'm not trying to like be a bitch, but like sometimes my clients are just like, like, I don't like you very much right now, but it's okay because they know. Exactly. Because they know, like, I'm pointing it out to serve them, to help them to, get to that next step, get to that next level. So it's funny because like, people might think like the coaching relationship is like, oh, you have a little cheerleader and somebody to like, rah, keep going. Not actually the case. Like, it can be uncomfortable. It can be hard and challenging because we're testing the limits of like where your comfort zone is. And we're just like, we just keep pushing it and testing it and like pushing it further. And it's uncomfortable, like to do the scary thing. Yeah. And that's why coaching is just so valuable, because if left to your own devices, people will take so much longer to do the scary thing, avoid the scary thing, like whatever that is for you. And coaching just kind of like brings it front row center and be like, no, you're dealing with this now, because this is like the piece you need in order to unlock everything else coming.
For sure. Yeah. Even, and this goes into like, kind of like me going to the gym. I always say like, I can't do the gym by myself. I'm not productive, right? It's just like in business, do it by yourself with nobody there to be accountable to and nobody pushing you. Like for me, I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I go and I'm like, oh, I'm tired. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's like half an hour, 45 minutes. But if I'm in a class and there's an instructor telling me what to do and like how much more time I need to push and all, like I am pushing myself to my limit, right? So I feel like you're that coach going, just 5 more reps.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good like fitness equivalent. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because without that person, I'm not pushing out myself as hard. And so in coaching, that's exactly what you're doing. You're like, just push a little bit more, get a little more uncomfortable. I know it hurts, but just keep going. You're almost there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because sometimes the uncomfortable thing can be making it fun, like finding ways to make it easy. Because a lot of the time, like hustle might be somebody's go-to, and the challenge, the pushing outside of your comfort zone is cool. How can you create the same result without the hustle? Like that's available to you. Now we're gonna go find out how. Like we're gonna go figure it out.
Help too.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Not just for kids.
No, exactly. I work out so I can eat. That is my motto.
There you go. Nice.
That is my reward for working out, is so that I can keep eating what I love and not have to worry about the calories.
Exactly. I love it.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we got a lot out of this. And thank you, Robin, for explaining.
Yes, thank you, Robin.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody is struggling with business or life, or just, you need someone to get you out of your head, Carina is absolutely amazing. I've been following her for a while now. And just, it just seems so easy. When you say it, it's so easy.
Yes. It gets to be easy. It can be easy. And if you want to punch me in the face right now because it doesn't feel easy, call me. Like, come see me. I will show you. Yeah.
No, and it absolutely is. And it's not like you have to go from like, black to white. Like you can, ease yourself, right? Take those little incremental steps to totally flipping your brain and thinking more positive rather than negative, right?
Absolutely.
It takes some conditioning, I would say, sometimes.
Well, no,
especially
I'd argue that.
Perfection.
I'd argue that though, because sometimes we can change our belief about something in an instant. Like you can hear one thing and totally shift your belief, and other times it holds on longer. So
I totally agree.
Both things are possible.
Exactly. And yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure. And if anybody wants to like come hang out in my bubble, I love to hang out over in my Facebook group, which is called the Mompreneur Movement. So if you are a mom, woman in business, or looking to start a business, then this is a good place for you.
Absolutely.
Come
put that into our comments.
Yes, I will go drop that in the comments.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. And
thank you for having me.
And for all the entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, if you are struggling, like I think Carina is your girl to get you over that hump, get you past that. And as a mom, both of us, like we know the struggles.
Yeah.
We've been through it. It's hard, but you can absolutely do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I just got another comment. All right. This has been a good live. Liked your gym analogy and congrats on the baby.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I can't see any of these comments. I'll have to look back
this
after.
One's from Aditya.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I botched your name. I tried.
I'm guilty of that too. I'm awful.
Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.